Good evening and welcome to the Friday edition of MCV News. I'm Glenn Wakai.
For today's sports fans, Longsha Willie here. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Tito Wami, I'm Vicky Tudela. I'll be back later in the show with Weather Report.
All of that coming up, but first our top story this evening. The much anticipated expansion and renovation of the Saipan harbor is a step closer. This afternoon, ground was broken on the Commonwealth's largest project. The $36 million facelift will allow for more efficient service of ships.
This port means literally billions of dollars in business revenue for our citizens, our private sectors, and our government.
Although the project promises to promote Saipan's economy and bring more jobs, the improvements began amidst controversy. CPA is still embroiled in 2 lawsuits from disgruntled bidders, and the expansion faces numerous financial question marks.
CPA can generate such revenue, such amount to pay off the interest rate, and of course once the improvement is in place, having more activities on the port will generate more revenue to pay the debt service as well.
Meanwhile, on Capitol Hill, lawmakers were constructing new laws, but they weren't doing it in a typical manner. Senate and congressional leaders from Saipan met for a session called by Delegation Chairman Representative Pedro De Leon Guerrero. The delegation spent most of their time deliberating over a resolution which would forgive $60 million of debt owed to the Commonwealth Development Authority. The Commonwealth Utilities Corporation owes CDA about $50 million, and Marianas Island Housing Authority owes about $10 million. Representative Pete Regis says he didn't think the MIHA board would support the resolution presented at this morning's session.
Forgiving $60 million is a lot of money. And I wonder about the effect this would have on the grant pledge agreement, and most especially the adverse effect it may have with CDA. The argument that the benefit is spread out to the general public versus the field that would borrow money later on if this were to be paid back is not even a good argument. I believe sincerely that people should be allowed to pay back their loans. But if there's any way that the request can be accommodated, it's more power to it.
Members of the delegation finally moved to defer the resolution to a committee. After that, 3 resolutions were adopted by the Saipan delegation. Acceptance of $1.1 million from a Japanese corporation. The money will be used to construct a gymnasium at the Marianas High School. A second resolution endorses the comprehensive health care agreement between the Commonwealth Health Center and Stanford University Hospital. The last resolution adopted opposes the introduction of tax increases. Governor Larry I. Guerrero has formed a tax task force to study how the island's tax system can be revamped to bring in more revenue. Task Force Chairman Eloy Enos has submitted draft recommendations for the Commission's review. Enos says the draft document, if enacted, could bring in $40 million in revenue. He says further input on the Draft Tax Reform Act will be gathered during legislative public hearings. It was a cold day in Superior Court today for a former police officer accused of ice trafficking. Stephen Cabrera Taragetsu was charged with intent to deliver ice last November. Taragetsu was released after posting a $100,000 property bond. He was also released by the courts on a third-party custodian on the condition that he obey his curfew regulation. However, a week ago, police officers arrested him for allegedly violating that condition. Assistant Attorney General Russell Marsh says Taragetsu is expected to appear in court on Wednesday for his pending ice trafficking and contempt of court charges. On Friday, Taragetsu will be sentenced by the federal courts for another offense. And a lot of bullets were found at the airport last night. A woman has been charged with illegal smuggling of ammunition. 37-year-old Erlinda J. Diedro was nabbed by customs authorities during a routine baggage inspection. Police officers report that 50 rounds of .38 caliber bullets and 40 rounds of .22 caliber ammo were in her possession. Diedro was released to the custody of her friend and is scheduled to be arraigned on March 8th. And coming up next, work begins on new classrooms at Coblerville Elementary School, and the college celebrates its 12th birthday. What is supposed to be a win-win situation is showing signs of a one-sided win. To the poverty-stricken Philippine government, contract workers are a valuable source of revenue. Local leaders feel they're an essential component of the CNMI economy. Pamela Picardal reports for MCV News and CNN that the Filipinos working here demand respect for their contributions to the CNMI economy.
As the Philippine government grapples to find ways to generate positions for thousands of Filipino job seekers each year, more Filipinos thought of finding greener pastures overseas. 17,000 out of the 1.5 million Filipino contract workers abroad can be found here in the Northern Mariana Islands. The sacrifices overseas workers have to hurdle, plus the dollars they remit to the Philippines, make them worthy of being hailed as the new heroes of their country, according to the Philippine Consul General here.
Well, the contract workers for the Philippines contribute a large amount of money in terms of dollar remittances back to the Philippines, and so they're helping the economy quite a lot.
Torres says most of the Filipino contract workers are in the service industry, from accountants to waitresses and domestic helpers. Generally, they have one common goal: to earn a living.
Everybody knows the reason why we're here, to work and to earn money, and also just for experience.
I came over to Saipan to earn some money that I can use to put up my sari-sari store and dress shop.
Almost all of the Filipinos that came for financial reasons, and I'm one of them.
Most Filipinos say the price one has to pay to earn a living is the sacrifice of leaving home, to work in a foreign land, confronted with a culture different from their own. At one time, many Filipino workers in nightclubs and karaoke bars here were branded as prostitutes.
Most of the waitresses in the karaokes and the clubs are just that, waitresses.
Some Filipinos came forward and voiced out how they should be treated.
I think we should be treated fair, well, and like a human being.
I consider being a waitress as a decent job, and we should be given equal treatment, same as those in higher positions.
With the CNMI government's recent passage of the anti-prostitution law, Torres says this would help his efforts to restore the reputation of the Filipino workers. He also hopes passage of this law will elevate the image of Filipinos working in the entertainment industry. While several of the Philippine women have found the fulfillment of their dreams here on this island, still others continue to struggle in their quest for success and for fair treatment as well. This is Pamela Picardal of the Northern Marianas for CNN World Report.
When students use the radio, it's usually to listen to the latest hits. However, a handful of them at Marianas High School use it to make friends throughout the Pacific. They've bridged the miles through high-tech pen pals. Purpose of the Pacific Education and Communication Experiments by Satellite, or PSAT. Bert Thompson says there are 40 sites that are participating in the unique program.
Nations, ranging all the way from one in California, Australia, New Zealand. We had one in Sendai, Japan, when we had a conference up there not too long ago. And all of the Micronesian sites, as well as many, many island nations south of the equator.
Miles overhead, a satellite meanders over the Pacific to link participants. Radio Pals is an ongoing program which is well received by students.
They talked about such things as, do you have a fast food restaurant in your island? And what age can you get a driver's license, and so on. And as I mentioned earlier, all those kinds of things that are important to young people today.
Then a voice from heaven came over the speakers.
Do you have any participants over?
Yes, we do. We have one participant right now. I think there's some more out in the hall that are a little shy about coming in, so we're going to invite them to come in and get started here pretty quick. Over.
As MHS students filed in, a teacher from Pohnpei was having difficulty locating his participants.
The principal is on a picnic and I can't find that student. They're trying to locate her at the cafeteria.
You're talking on a microphone to somebody you don't see thousands and thousands of miles away over a satellite, and it's kind of at first a little tense and a little shy, but after a while the students warm up and really want to continue, and it's difficult to get them to stay within the allotted hour time length that they're given. They want to run over and hang around.
Those who hung around today were able to talk to students from Guam, Pohnpei, New Zealand, American Samoa, and Hawaii. This particular voice came from Honolulu.
You can tell us your name and how old you are and what you're studying. Can we go back to Saipan PSS?
Well, my name is Walter, and I'm in the 11th grade. I'm currently taking 6 subjects.
Hi, my name is Azar Sigwa. I'm a junior, and I'm currently taking business math, and general business.
At the end of the session, students traded addresses, and next month they'll have another opportunity to talk to their newfound friends. And while some students reached out and touched faraway places, others spent their day weaving, singing, and dancing at the Northern Marianas College. 12 years ago today, the NMC received its charter, and every year in honor of that historic moment, students have shared different aspects of their culture. Charter Day also provides an opportunity for award presentations recognizing achievements by students, faculty, and staff members. Governor Lorenzo De Leon Guerrero says he's proud of the way the college has taken the lead in preserving and promoting knowledge and culture throughout the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands.
Your institution has inspired a growing list of public interest facilities, including our first public library, our American Memorial Park Pavilion, and our first museum. We are all proud of your accomplishment.
President of the Northern Marianas College, Agnes McFeeters, is proud of the school's accomplishments and says it's tremendously grown over the past 12 years.
We have seen our college grow from initially less than 100 people. Our first group of students was only 17. Today, as you know, we are serving over 2,500 students this semester.
Meanwhile, other teachers and students are celebrating the construction of new classrooms. Pamela Picardal reports that the much-anticipated addition to Kobler Elementary School is closer to a reality.
The parents, teachers, and students of the Koblerville Elementary School are sighing with relief now that additional classrooms will be constructed starting next week. Public School System Commissioner William Torres and the school principal, Margaret Adriano, both say once these classrooms are completed, this would reduce the number of students per class, allowing them more time to interact with their classmates and their teachers.
Extremely difficult to manage a classroom with 30 kids inside. Not alone, not to mention, not only managing, but to afford the student this one-to-one interaction. It's extremely difficult. You know, you only have 45 minutes in a day with 30 kids inside. It's an impossibility. No wonder we have, burnouts and things of that nature.
These 5 classrooms will certainly alleviate some of the congested problem that we have right now. As you can see, we are on a split session.
This project, says Torres, has been laid dormant for 4 months since there was unavailable cash to consummate a contract last year. Torres told the governor school construction projects could move faster if he had the authority to start them while the budget is being reviewed by the Senate.
The concept of obligation authority vested in the commissioner, we don't need to wait for cash, to have cash. We can go ahead and execute a contract with the understanding that cash will be forthcoming.
The project contractor, Vicente Rivera, says the construction of the classrooms would cost about $250,000. These classrooms are expected to be completed before September this year. In Koblerville, I'm Pamela Picardal for MCV News.
And Longshot Willie himself is quite a construction master. He's constructed today's sports report. Longshot will run down the day's sporting events next on MCV News.
In college basketball, the Texas Longhorns played against the Texas Tech Red Raiders. High score for the Longhorns was B.J. Tyler, and for the Red Raiders, it was Lenny Holly. Here are highlights of that fantastic finish.
It was time to see who had bragging rights in Texas.
The Texas Tech Red Raiders haven't beaten the Texas Longhorns since 1988. The Red Raiders were leading during most of the game, but here's Terrence Rencher making the basket and the foul for a three-point play to take the lead for the Longhorns. Texas Tech came right back with a three-pointer by Smith to take back that lead. Not to be outdone in this Southwestern Conference battle, Watson from the Longhorns hits a three-pointer. With less than a minute, the Red Raiders hustles for the loose ball to take the lead. Then the drama begins for a fantastic finish. Texas ties it up again with 103 apiece and 19 seconds left. With time running out, Texas Tech boxes out for an easy rebound and the last-second basket to win the game 105-103. And in baseball, with the high salaries going around, this season in the Major League Baseball should be a doozy. Just to let you know the difference with this free agent negotiations, the Houston Astros salary for the pitchers this year is more than the whole team last year. Let's hear on more what's happening in Florida.
Happier times going on for Andre Dawson with the Red Sox now after 17 seasons in the NL.
I really don't set any goals. It's more physical with me. I'm trying to condition myself, prepare myself to go out and play in the field every day. And I know I won't be used that way. I'll probably DH on occasion, but you know, as I said, it's just more physical. I want to do the things that I know I'm capable of.
Another famous face in a new place. Wednesday, Barry Bonds had his first workout with the Giants.
It's going to work because the guys over here are very excited about the changes. Second off, now the communication is already there. We were talking, friendly, and I love it, and I'm glad to be home.
And back to this day, what is that? Somebody hooked a big one. The Marlins' new mascot unveiled. Well, Renee Latchman considers that. Tom Kelly is working in Dave Winfield in the outfield at the Twins camp. And watch out for Ayala's pitch, Chris Sabo. The off-injured Red has to shake that one off. Some of what's going on around spring training.
I take back my word from my opening yesterday about my report. Now it's rain, rain, go away, come again some other day. The forecast for this weekend will surely brighten the picnic lovers out there, especially for those people who will show up to our party over at the Kilili Beach this Sunday. Sunny skies will be out, and make sure to bring your suntan lotion handy. Moving to our regional temperatures, Rhoda and Tinian today had sunny skies with 83 degrees. Palau along with Yap also had the same, or Palau had 74 degrees, and down south in Guam the temperature was 84 degrees with sunny skies. Moving on to Yap, which had 74. Ponape had 83 degrees, Majuro had 84 under sunny skies, and Chuuk had 83 degrees with partly cloudy skies. Now moving to our Pacific destination. Manila today had 77 degrees, Honolulu had 79, Hong Kong was under partly cloudy sky with 59 degrees, Tokyo had 43 with fog, so had the lowest temperature in the region with 27. Taipei had 54, and down in Sydney, Australia, the temperature was 72 degrees with sunny skies. Now for our tonight's forecast, it'll be under partly cloudy with isolated light showers, winds northeasterly 10 to 15 miles per hour, and the low temperature in the lower 70s. Seas moderate, 5 to 8 feet. Surf will be 6 to 9 feet on northwestern clockwise through southeastern exposures, and 47 feet elsewhere. Our first tide tonight will indicate that it'll be a low of 3/10 of a foot up at 5:36, and will be up with a high tide of 1.5 feet 6 minutes after midnight this evening. Sunset was due up at 6:24, and sunrise tomorrow morning will be at 6:36. And the outlook for this weekend, the forecast indicates that sunny skies will be out with northeasterly winds gusting up to 30 miles per hour and the high temperature in the upper 80s. And that's all for our weather report. Stay tuned. After this cast, we'll be back.
One note before we go, don't forget at 7 o'clock tonight on this channel, it's live Saba from the Ada Gym.
And we hope to see you on Sunday at the big MCV Bash at Kilili Beach. All of us will be there, right?
Yep. And that's all the time we have for news tonight. On behalf of the entire MCV News team, have a nice weekend, and we'll see you at the party. Good night.
Good night.
Yes.